Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Houston Sharpshooters Draft to Glory franchise mode here in NHL 22. So in last episode, we took on the Colorado Avalanche in the second round of the playoffs, and unfortunately, we lost the series in 5 games, mainly because Colorado was a really stacked offensive team. That they were going into that second round, coming off of a sweep, I believe, and they also scored 5.5 goals per game in the first round, so we were just no match against their offense. And some of our bigger guys didn't really produce that well, but Raimo Jääskeläinen was still really good with 16 points in 12 games. He's easily been one of our best players in this series, and I'm hoping that he can do that again in next season and stuff like that. And hopefully we can go a little bit farther in the playoffs, because we're kind of regressing a tiny bit because we went to the conference finals obviously last year. This season we only went to the second round, so I'm really hoping that we can make it a little bit farther again next season. Now, I guess that all really matters on if we could actually get everybody back, because we do have a lot of big contracts that are up this offseason, but we do have a little bit more flexibility with it to an extent, because Kyler Morales' big contract that we gave him way back 8 years ago has finally came to an end, so he's probably not going to be demanding as much money, which is good. So we should be able to get him for like $5 million instead of like $8 million. But a lot of our RFAs and stuff like that, we might have to still sign them for 1 year just because of the fact that they might be demanding a lot of money at this stage. So I'm really hoping we could keep this team together, and hopefully we can make a good run next season. But anyways, before we get into the draft and the entire offseason, we do have one comment to go over, and that is from HawksFan88. He says, disappointing end to the season. I think Umbrer would be a smart choice, since I think you should work on improving your defense, which I agree with. Obviously, we need to kind of find a way to be a little bit better defensively. And I didn't actually take a look at Umbrer. I actually haven't seen the draft class in a while because I haven't recorded this series in, I believe, like a week, because I pre-recorded the playoff episodes because I was just really excited to get into it. But he was saying to go with Umbrer, which, yeah, he's a guaranteed medium top 6 defenseman, but since he's a first rounder, he actually could pan out to being a top 6 defenseman, which is probably something we need. Obviously, we do have some defensemen in the minors that could eventually be in our lineup, but some of them don't work with our current coach. So, yeah, Umbrer might be a decent option. He doesn't look the greatest, but it says he has no weakness, so that's not bad. He's got good defensive zone play and strength and balance, so he's kind of like a prototypical defensive defenseman that we could use. So, yeah, we'll probably end up taking him, even if some of these guys end up being like top 6 forwards and whatnot, because we don't really have to use for any forwards unless for some reason we lose anybody in free agency and stuff like that and all that type of thing. So anyways, let's get into the draft, and then we'll get into the rest of the offseason, and hopefully, like I said, we could keep this team together, because that's probably the thing I'm the most scared about. But actually, first, before we get into the draft, I was going to maybe not offer any contract extensions before the actual extension thing, so I could see how much cap space I have. But I think I'm going to already offer maybe Morales an extension for just 1 year and keep on giving him 1 year deals. See if he'll accept like 1 year at $5 million. He might not accept that, but I'm going to still give him a contract right now and just see if he accepts before the re-sign stage happens. So anyways, let's get into the draft now and see what we can snag up here, and hopefully we can get some pretty good prospects in, because we might run into problems the next few years with some of our big guns eventually leaving the free agency, because a lot of our team, I believe, is under 3 years in terms of their salaries, so we are kind of having our window close on us very quickly to an extent to win a Stanley Cup, I think. But we could always still try and contend by letting go of some of the big guns in a sense. So anyways, let's get into this. So let's see the first 5 picks. So the Dallas Stars are going to take Dylan, who's a 84 sniper, so that's a pretty good pick for them. Here's what he looks like, just in case you wanted to take a look at that, because I know some of you guys like to take a look at other teams around the league. San Jose at number 2 is going to take a Wyman, who is a 78 offensive defenseman, not too bad. That could have been something we could have used, obviously, at some stage, but it is what it is. Obviously, we were going to be a contending team, but it would have been nice to have an offensive defenseman on the back end. And then there's an 83 sniper that goes 3rd overall. So some good snipers in this draft, but obviously we don't really need that to an extent, but we do need our big guns to start going a little bit, because I believe Thornton hasn't been that good in the playoffs before, so we really need to get like Thornton scoring. And then a top 4D that's 68 overall goes 5th overall. That's a really low overall for a 5th overall pick. Means Boston's probably going to go with somebody good at number 6. Yeah, that's what I thought. But that's still a big whiff by the New Jersey Devils in terms of overall rating. Let's sim to our pick at number 25, and looks like we could still get our boy in Umbrer. Yep, we can. Perfect spot. He might have X factors as well, like bouncers, so he might be a really good like defensive defenseman. So yeah, let's go with Aaron Umbrer from the United States, and if he's good enough overall wise, we could play him in the AHL already, but I don't really want to rush him to an extent, so we're just going to take him anyways though. And he's a 64 top 6D DFD. There's his individual stats, and yeah, he's more defensively minded, but I mean his passing's not terrible, his shot power's not terrible. So he might pick up some points, but he's pretty balanced all around to an extent, except for obviously the puck skills aren't there, because obviously DFDs don't really pull off dekes and stuff like that. Let's move to our second round pick and see if we could find some random steals. I don't remember if I pinned anybody. Oh yeah, I did. I pinned Duclair, and we're going to take Duclair because, yeah, he's looking pretty good if he's actually like that. And obviously give us a little bit more offensive boost. He's 5'10", 187, so he could be a sniper. He could be also a grinder because he's a small little dude. He's got a lot of speed and apparently maybe one-on-one skills, so he might be a really good deker. So yeah, we're going to take Antoine Duclair from the QMJHL, and he's going to be a low top 6 forward. Damn, I was hoping he'd be a low elite, but 63 overall at 18 is pretty good. And his attribute-wise, he's better defensively than he is offensively, but he does have a lot of good deking. His slap shot accuracy is really really good, but everything else isn't that good shooting-wise. Very weird balanced guy, but he does have a lot of speed, which kind of makes sense with the last name Duclair. Kind of a weird pick there. Not sure if he'll pan out, but if he does, that would be good because obviously we could use all the like bottom 6 help we could get. The scouts are recommending us get Avery Champion, who's 20 years of age. No weakness. I might take him just because his last name is Champion, and that maybe will give us a Stanley Cup. Who knows? For the memes. So yeah, you know what? We're going to take a 20-year-old Avery Champion, see how good he is. And he's a 67 low top 6. That's actually pretty good. Because, well, actually being at 20, he might end up being in the NHL at like 23, 24 if he actually grows. But he doesn't have bad attributes. So I think I'll take that, and him being a power forward, maybe he becomes something special. And like I said, once again, it will help fill out our bottom 6 a bit. We should probably look for some more defensemen like this Dubinsky guy. No weakness apparently as well. 4-year ETA. Is that Aaron Paul or no? Aiden Paul, okay. Yeah, we're gonna take Colin, or not Colin, what the heck am I saying? Not talking about body parts here, or organs, I should say. Colin Dubinsky, we're gonna take him, give us a little bit more defenseman, see how good he is. He's a low top 60, OFD, 58 overall is not great, but who knows, maybe he becomes something. It's an OFD. I'll take it, I guess. 5th round pick, what do we want to get here? Malachi Nielsen. Says no weakness as well, 5-year ETA, that's kind of a long time, but he is only 18, so he'd be like 23 years old if he does develop, but there's a good chance that he's like a bottom 6 forward like a lot of these guys. I might just take a bottom 6 forward because it would help fill out our bottom 6 if he develops to be in like a 75, 76. So, you know, we're going to take Eddie Close since he's only 17 as well. And he is a low bottom 6 grinder, 59 overall, so if he ends up making it, maybe this guy becomes a good penalty killer for us in the future. 6th round pick now. Let's see what we could get here. Sort by potential. Any low leads still available? Doesn't look like it. Yeah, this draft isn't really that great as well. A lot of low 7th Ds at this point. This guy has actually some interesting attributes for low 7th D. His puck skills are good, his senses are good, his skating is good, but he's not good defensively. He doesn't have good physical or shooting. That's kind of intriguing, to be honest, for low 7th D. Because this guy doesn't look nowhere near as good. So, you know what? We're going to just take a chance with Ivan Kostitsyn here. It looks kind of interesting. See how good he is. He's a 57 overall. But he is that low 7th D. And, yeah, he kind of has some interesting attributes, like 80 passing. So, maybe he'd be good at the AHL level because he's a really good skater. But that's pretty much it. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll sign him up if he actually develops. And our last pick of the draft, we are going to probably just take a bottom 6 forward. Because like I said, might as well just fill out the roster to an extent if they actually develop. So you know what, we're going to take a chance with Milan Martinic from Kladno in the Extraliga. And he's a 52 bottom 6 forward, so not really that great. Not the greatest draft by any means, but at least we got our first round pick, which is still a top 6 defenseman at least. So, but yeah, not the greatest draft, but not the worst draft. Duclair and Champion, they could be maybe something at some point. Umbrer hopefully will still develop into being something good for us. And then the rest of them are all kind of crapshoot players. But that is our draft. Now we got to get into the re-sign stage, which I am probably most scared about because of the amount of cap space we probably have. I guess we'll re-sign our AHL head coach if he fits the team well, which I don't really know if he does. Looks like he probably does. Now let's just try and re-sign him. Okay, so that is good. And we do have some scouts to get back as well. At least it's not too much of them, because it's kind of annoying when you have like 8 scouts that need to be re-signed and then they all accept at the same time when you're waiting for players to re-sign. Oh, I thought that was David Pasternak, because it said David Pasternak recently retired, but it was Dominic Pasternak, who is our DEL scout. Interesting. So those are the scouts to deal with. Now the re-sign stage. Morales accepts. Wow. Okay, 1 year at $5 million. I think that's a pretty good deal. Hopefully it wasn't a bit of an overpay, but it is a pretty good contract. We have $41 million in cap space, which is pretty good, I think. Let's go to our unsigned guys first and get Lucic signed, because he's a 74 top 9. I might have to let go of like Ozolin and stuff like that to make room for some AHL guys. Let me just go to the bottom of this list. This guy's not going to pan out. Schroeder, low top 9, 63 at 20. No, he doesn't really have the greatest attributes. He's a really good deker, and he's got really good wrist shot accuracy, but slap shot power. And yeah, this is kind of a weird character. Yeah, I'm not going to sign Stefan Schroeder. I don't think he's going to pan out, to be honest. We are going to sign this Lowleat because he does have X factors, so we will sign him up, even though he's not really that great yet. Perrin, 65 at 19 is not terrible. He does have actually some decent attributes, so we'll sign him up as well. We are going to let go of Versi. He was a 4th round pick, but he doesn't look the greatest, so I'm going to let him go. And then we're also going to let go of Vermette in the AHL, because we do have Volchenkov, who I believe was our 1st rounder, right? Yeah, 18th overall. He's looking actually pretty balanced. I kind of like that. So I will sign him up for the AHL team for next year. We will also let go of Larocque, just kind of free up some space in the AHL. We will also let go of Ozolin, because he's not going to pan out anymore. And then Gage Ronning, I'd like to still keep around, but he wants $1 million. God damn it. Why do these guys want $1 million bucks? Let's try and get the rest of these guys down there in the AHL signs. Soderstrom, what do you want for 1 year? Oh my. Soderstrom, $6 million bucks. Yikes. Okay, that's kind of scary. I will deal with that afterwards. Let me go to the bottom of this RFA list and just qualify all the guys that are in the AHL first. And then we'll take a look at what the big boys are asking for, because there's a lot of big boys that are probably going to be asking for like over 10 million. I'll disqualify pretty much everybody that's below an 80 overall, because those guys are going to be relatively cheap by comparison. And we could probably get them down in price a little bit. Okay, so the big boys. So we got Yip, who's probably not going to be too expensive, but he wants $6 million. Okay, maybe he will be qualified then. We'll just qualify him, because $6 million for an 80 overall, that's way too high up. So I'm just going to qualify him for now. Chad Burns, 87 overall, wants $11 million. That's not terrible, considering how good of a defensive player he's been for us the last like year or so, but $11 million. I don't think the 85% trick works, so I could try the 85% trick rule. I just don't want any of these to get like qualified by the computer. So what is Burns asking for again, just so I could try the 85% trick, since we have multiple days to deal with this? He wants 11.625 for 4 years. So if we do the 85% trick, or try the 85% trick, if I could actually type on the stamp calculator, we could probably offer him 9,885. So I'll try that and see if he'll accept that, because I think he's relatively important to this team. So we'll do 4 by 9.9. He's not really a good playoff player is my only problem. But I still will try 4 by 9.9. Sedin's going to want a lot of money. 6 by 8.4 is actually not bad for an 88 overall, to be honest. I'm going to also try the 85% trick on him and see if I could get these guys for less, because I would like to sign some guys long term, but we do have some big contracts coming up the next few years, so we got to keep those in mind, like Jaskalainen and whatnot. So we might not want to sign guys too long term, but we will try to sign a couple of them. 7.14. Let's see if we could get him down for, yeah, 7.15. If I could get him for that price, I think that's definitely worth it. Kapitanov is probably going to want a lot as well. Yeah, 8 by 12.5. Yikes, and he doesn't demand much less than that. I might do a 1-year deal. Yeah, I think I'm going to do a 1-year deal for him. Just for now, until he starts demanding for less. But we might eventually lose him at some point, which is not going to be great. But let's see what I could get for 85% if it actually works. 9265, we'll try that. Hopefully we can get him down in price. Just because I want this team to be relatively inexpensive. Because the cap space is going to go pretty quick with some of these guys. Okay, so those guys are all offered contracts too. Park, what do you want? I'm going to give you that exactly what you want because that's actually pretty cheap. I could always just qualify him and get him for less, but... And then the rest of these guys I'm going to probably wait on for a bit. I would like to keep Force around, and I'm just going to give him what he wants. See if he'll accept that. Groston was an interesting player because he really struggled in the playoffs. Like, he was okay during the regular season, but the playoff-wise, his numbers were way less than the year prior. But I still want to bring him back because he's a good 82 overall. So I'm going to still sign him. 3.95, though. You know what, we'll try it. Not just yet, though. Wait until we make sure we have the cap space. Pete Pasquale on 2 years at 1.7 is not bad. I'll give him that. Ferraro, 2 years at 1.3. Let's just do 1 year instead, just to kind of play it safe. And Ronningham, 1 year at 1.225. I just will give him that. Might as well. These goalies I'm going to have to wait on for now as well. Let's advance today, see if we get those guys, because those guys are important first. After we get these scouts and all that stuff back. Looks like some of them accepted. Or all of them accepted. Yep. Oh, actually, no. Kapitanov and Burns rejected. Yip is still qualified. Who was the one that accepted out of the RFAs? Somebody did. We only have 28 million in cap space. So, yeah, let's qualify the 2 of these big boys. Because we do not have a lot of cap space to deal with still. And then Koroson's the only UFA left other than Soderstrom. I wish I could get Soderstrom down in price. That's a lot of money to give him. I will try 1 year at 6.5. And then I'm going to try and get Joseph down to like 1 year 975. See if I can get him down to under $1 million. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. And then Koroston, I might end up losing Koroston, to be honest. Let's advance to. And looks like some rejections in there. Oh, Soderstrom accepted. That's good. Okay, so we only have 22 million in cap space, but we got all these big guys to sign. Ooh, I'm kind of scared. We don't really have a lot of cap space to work with. We might end up having to buy out somebody at some point. Like, hopefully these asking prices come down a lot. Because if we look at these contracts, we have 22 million. There's 12 million gone, potentially. There's 11 million. Like, we'd have to sign these 2, and we'd lose pretty much everybody else. So we got to make sure those asking prices come down. And I don't think I could get Koroston back right now, because I got to wait on these guys first and foremost. So, yeah, I think I'm going to let go of Koroston for now, which might be a little bit problematic. Because he's an 82 overall, but I am going to let him go for now. We could always re-sign him if he's still in free agency, but right now I need to make sure that I get these RFAs back first and foremost. So, yeah, that's going to be that. And let's him over to free agency. See if we get those RFAs to start accepting. But we might have to buy out somebody, to be honest, if we could still buy out during free agent period. None of those RFAs accepted before the start of free agency. That's kind of scary. I really hope a lot of these guys come down in asking price. Yeah, Strudwick's trying to get over $1 million as well, which is kind of dumb. Oh, man, I'm scared. I really hope we could get all these guys back. Like, Soderstrom's expensive as shit, too. I don't know if I should have re-signed him. Because I don't know, but it's only for 1 year. But yeah, we might have to eventually buy somebody out. I don't know if I should have gave Morales $5 million bucks. Because maybe I should have let him go. Because we are right up against the cap. Let's continue to sim a few days. Actually, let's sim 1 month and see if we get any of these guys accepting. Hopefully we do not get any of our guys qualified. Because that would be how we end up losing players on this team. Let's see what we got here. Anybody accepting? Heino's going to accept. Not a surprise that the lower end RFA is going to accept. Chad Burns is accepted. That's a pretty big one. Reed Roach is accepted. Tursunbayev is accepted. Schutz is accepted. And Cohen Blacker's been offered a RFA offer sheet, but we are going to match that offer regardless because Cohen Blacker is going to probably be on our defensive core next season. Let me just get through this quickly and see now who do we have left and how much cap space do we have left. We might have to buy somebody out though in order to get some of these guys back. 14 million. Okay, that's not bad. And we still have Ortiz holding out. He still wants over $1 million. I'm gonna leave that for now. We're gonna get Sador back because he wants a two-way. Same with Strudwick. It's these big three that are more expensive. Yip still wants 3.7. Kapitanov wants 7.8. We could get all these guys back, it looks like. Yeah, I think we could afford all these guys to get them back on one-year deals. So we'll advance a couple more days. And they still all should accept, which is good. Let's advance. Kapitanov is accepted. Perfect. The computer got him back. They got Ortiz, Strudwick. Sador and Yip is accepted. So I think that's everybody. I think we got everybody back just barely. Yep, we have 4.695 and we have everybody back on this team. Do we have enough AHL goalies? Because I did let go of a goalie. Yes, we did. Okay. Yes, we do. Yep, we got enough goalies. Okay, that's good. But we literally just barely afforded everybody. Like, we have just under $5 million in cap space. Which is kind of scary, but we got everybody back. Which means we might end up losing some big boys next year. Or some guys we might have to let go. Like Ferraro, for example, might leave because he's making over $1 million. But Jaskalainen's a UFA next offseason, which is really scary because he's our best player. And I'd like to keep him around. We might end up losing Morales next offseason as well. Ooh, but I am so glad we were able to afford everybody because I didn't think we would be able to with that much amount of cap space. But at least all those asking prices came down a lot. And we were just barely able to afford them. But now we got to see what our team looks like going into next season. And hopefully our coaching staff and stuff like that is still a good match for our team. If not, we might have to make some coaching adjustments. But I think in general our coaches have been pretty good. So, okay, so let's take a look at what we got here for owner goals. They want us to win the Stanley Cup, so we should be a playoff team. That's good. And our team, let's see what we got here. Tursunbayev is scratched. I don't like that, really. AHL wise, I will adjust this afterwards. We have way too much defensemen playing. Yeah, we don't have enough forwards down there, so I'm gonna have to probably send down some guys in the NHL. But Ortiz should probably be still in that third line. Yeah, we could try Petain up there maybe instead. Ooh, okay, maybe something like that. Let's take a look at face-off stats. Ferraro's actually developed his face-offs, which is good, so we will put him at center with Petain and Sador, which I believe is an all-grinder line, which is kind of interesting. Third line, Pasquale is a better face-off man than Ortiz, but Ortiz is still pretty good. I'd rather have the playmaker probably in between the two snipers, so it makes sense, or a sniper. We have a lot of grinders in our bottom six, which is a little bit scary. So maybe that changes a bit. Maybe instead of Sador, I will put Tursunbayev in for now. Yeah, maybe I'll just do that for now, even though that negates the chemistry. And then we will do for our top six, because our top six is our most important part. We will have Morales on the second line. Let's see. Thornton is a better fit for the first line. Sea-Doo is a worse fit for that second line. Wow, Sea-Doo is not really a good fit on this team at all. Just kind of scary. I don't really want to move him down in the lineup. But we'll run with something probably like this for our forward core. As for defense, we need to adjust this a little bit. Shoots is up here. How's Blacker's? Blacker ready? Yeah, Blacker's ready. We're going to call up Blacker for the start of the season. Because I would like to get Blacker in here, which means sending down Ronning. Actually, we'll send down Ronning. And I'm also going to send down Sidor, I think, for now, actually, as well. Because I do not want to have any scratches on our NHL team since we don't really run into injury troubles. We will call up Blacker. And I think that's the only person we'll really call up from the AHL. Afinasenkov also got sent down. He was on the NHL team for the last few years. He's a good fit on our defensive core, but I want to see how Blacker fits our team first. So let's go back over to this. Just go best lines in the AHL. We'll adjust this at some point. But defensively, let's take Shoots out because I know Shoots is not really a great fit. We'll throw Blacker in. Teratuka needs to be on the top pairing. Sedin and Hedman have good chemistry, but I would need Teratuka up there. How good of a fit is Blacker? Blacker doesn't seem to be a good fit for the team unless he's on the first pairing. So let's try Blacker on the first pairing, kind of balance this out a bit. There we go, that makes sense. Sedin and Hedman, and then we would be running Yip and Roach. And then Shoots, I don't think I could slot Shoots in anywhere because he doesn't really fit our defensive core. Which kind of sucks. So I'm going to have to send him down as well, I think. But, yeah, a lot of these guys don't really fit with our current coach. So I am going to send down Shoots as well, just to make sure we have all those players down there in the AHL instead of the NHL. Let's just go best lines in the AHL again quickly. I will address this off camera afterwards, though, or off video. And then goalie-wise, what do we look like? Soderstrom and Park, that's pretty solid. Power play-wise, still with the +5s. You'll love to see that. We could always address this power play unit a little bit more. Yeah, our special teams still look pretty good. I don't think I'm going to touch them, really, because I trust in our coaches. But other than that, our forward core looks pretty good chemistry-wise. I think it might be our best team yet. I don't really know, because we have 79s in our lineup. I don't know if they'll drop off when the actual season starts or not. Giving Cohen Blacker a lot of ice time out of the gate is not really a bad thing, considering he is kind of at that make or break point. And he does have really good offensive instincts, so hopefully he could do pretty good there. Maybe we'll give him actually some power play time as well, since he is a offensive defenseman. But I don't really know where I could slot him in, is the only thing. Sedin's defensive, right? No, he's two-way. But he doesn't put up a lot of points, I know that. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to take Sedin off the power play and give Blacker an opportunity. Change up the power play a little bit, even if that does ruin our chemistry a little bit. Because I need Blacker to get some power play time, if I can. Yeah, we'll move Capitan off to the second unit, why not? And penalty kill wise, we will probably take, we'll probably take Hedman off, and then throw in Sedin there instead, just so Sedin's at least getting some special team time so he doesn't lose morale. And that should be pretty good. So yeah, I think our team looks pretty good in the NHL. As for AHL, we do have way more defensemen down there than we do have forwards, which is kind of problematic. So I might have to sign some of our unsigned guys at the moment. Let's go get defense. Defense looks pretty good. Who's scratched? Pagaduin, low top forward, that's 21. I should probably play him. And we definitely need to play our X-Factor defenseman, which means I think taking out Bob Roach because he's not developing. And we'll move Goddard into the top two pairing. And yeah, we'll do something like that. It sucks to put Afinasenkov back in the AHL, but it's probably what we have to do to make our defensive core stronger, considering Blacker is listed as a top 6 defenseman. He's got really good offensive stats, so I'm very excited to see what he could do in his first season here. But that is that, and I think that's pretty much it, I think. Let me take a quick look at the contract situation again, just a little bit better in depth, all expiring. Yeah, so these are all the big contracts we have up at the end of this season. And yeah, we might end up losing somebody pretty big. All the RFAs, obviously, we could negotiate with, but we might end up losing Morales. We might lose Ferraro, Roach, Reed Roach's contract, yeah. It's kind of scary, but we might end up losing somebody important. We might end up losing Soderstrom, considering Benson's getting close to being NHL ready. And since Soderstrom's making 6.5, I don't know how much he's going to want next offseason. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Houston Sharpshooters Draft to Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we will simulate the season. We'll see how guys like Cohen Blacker do in their first season. And we'll see if this team can make a good run this season. And hopefully they can, because we are running out of time in terms of contracts and in this franchise mode. So let me know what you think down below. And I'll see you guys next time.